Okay, so we're going on number 10 here, disc 10. So these three things all represent 9/11. There's the dragon's claw, which they used to steal from 9/11, and all the world's people, stupid fucks, all think that this is some kind of tribute. It's not a tribute, it's them shoving it in your face, except people don't get it. That's the dragon's claw, right? This is the same thing right here. It's just in a different format. Here it is over here. People think, oh, they made a crucifix out of this steel. No, that's the letter X. It's a real cross, not that bullshit thing that they keep showing you that Jesus was put on. They elongate the one side so they can stick it in the dirt. It's the letter X. It's the oldest symbol in the world for Saturn. It represents death. So let's look at what this thing is and what this is. What is this? It's exactly the same thing. So if we take this, like this, and we blow this up like this, and then we come over here, right? Let's do that. Hang on. There you go. What are they showing you? That's the male side of the brain. That's the male side of the brain. What's the center one? It's where the two outside ones, the male and the female, come together. You see? The outside and the outside, male and female. And if we come down here, here's the broad in the mirror, making the hand symbols. Same thing. See it? That's the right side, that's the left side, but the two become one. And there's the finger, which is this, right here. The finger is this. And this mess over here is what this is right here. Do you understand? And so, unfortunately, Stephanie was making both of these. You can see it on the cell phone really good. It's this color that's odd to me, because that's a very, very weird color. But I'm going to show that to you here in a minute. And for all of you that believe in this Noah's Ark bullshit, if we look at the picture, whoever drew this got it exactly right. You notice, you see the white puffiness? That means that's a thought, or it's dealing with the mind. You see how the arc is coming out of the center of his fucking forehead? Let me show you this picture in another format. Here's Alex Jones. Now if you take his picture and you mirror it, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Mirrored, because that's what all this is about. And what do you find? You find a dick right in between his eyes, just like you see up here on the two sides of the brain, just like you see over here and over here. That's why whoever drew this knows what the true story is of all of this. See? Isn't that interesting? How many people on fucking YouTube and these other places, they're just running around looking at politics and Trump and all of this other stupid shit. This is the reality of all of it. I just seem to be the only guy on here screaming about it. But there's billions of people involved in this. Billions. And when you start understanding this stuff, things become clearer, and you can see where the mindset of the person that made it is coming from. So this is a Blue Oyster Cult. Agents of Fortune, is that what that is? Because really, you know, it says Agents of Fortune. That's an interesting word. Let me see. And so we look at this. It says Agents of Fortune. Well, here's a little known fact. As a matter of fact, I know none of you know this shit. Fortune. Gad is where you get the word God. Troop. A god of fortune or good luck worshipped by certain Semitic people. You want to guess which Semites those might be? He's usually mentioned with Mini or destiny. Isaiah proclaimed that worshippers of Gad and Many would suffer judgment. Some scholars find a reference to this deity in Leah, who was Jacob, you know, the fruitcakes, a biblical fruitcake that all the Jews are tied into, naming of her son Gad. The popularity of the worship of this god among the Canaanites, Amy Laska, is manifest by the place of the names Baal. Remember that? Baal Gad? Baal? Why are we back to that again? That's interesting stuff. Gad. Where do we see that? Where do we see that? Americans, you've seen this a gazillion times, and you just accepted it. Here it is. Here. Don't tread on me. Do you know what that is? That is an early American flag. Now, if America was built on Christianity, why would they use a serpent? That seem a little bit odd. Why would you use a snake? And it's interesting because the name of the flag is a Gad's Den flag. Gad's Den flag. And who talked about a den biblically? Oh, Jesus did. And what did he call the Jews? He said, ye are a den of vipers. Let's see what else. So it's a snake, and what is it saying? Don't tread on me. Where do we see that biblically? Here it is. I will put enmity between thee and the woman, mother, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and it shall bruise his heel. So if you don't want your head bruised, you tell the opposing side, don't trample on me. But what's interesting about this, it said I'll put enmity, a division between the woman and between her seed and your seed. Well, women don't have a seed. So we know that this is demonic. See? Learning is fun. Isn't it fun learning what a fucked up reality we actually live in, and that the people that are running this thing are nothing but straight up fucking gross and disgusting losers? They just happen to have all the money is the thing. Oh, that, and they're damned for eternity. So getting back to the whole, sorry about my voice, this shit never goes away. The older I get, the longer it hangs on. This is actually a joke. The people that make this stuff, you know, the people smoking pot that are watching, you know, and looking at it and going, dude, what is this? And you know, people don't get it. The Blue Oyster Cult, which is the name of this group, in reality, the Blue Oyster Cult was a homosexual priest cult out of Egypt. So if you're just wondering about that, the name itself. But this is a joke. They're telling you exactly how this is done and what they are doing. So would you like me to explain it to you? Because I'm pretty sure I'm about the only one that's ever gonna. This is the butt plug. It's the thing that gets wedged up your ass and hits the vagus nerve, which is the biggest bundle of nerves from your cranial, is down in your hip by your ass. That's why they are always going there, because it affects the mind. That's where the phrase, you've got your head up your ass, comes from. Or get your head out of your ass. So, this is the thing that gets shoved up the ass. Why are they showing Saturn next? Because in the Hindu religion, in the Vedic texts, your body is equated to the universe. So every part of your body is a part of the universe. So you and the universe are one and the same. Saturn on the human body is the asshole. So this gets shoved into this, and what happens? Well, let's just use these, shall we? And then we'll just use this. So this gets shoved into that. And then this is a result of this getting shoved into the ass, because what do? You get the eclipse. And from the eclipse, what do you get? Oops, hang on. From the eclipse, you get what? You get what? You get the illusion, you get the magic trick, the fake reality. Down here he's got the finger and he's pointing at the Saturn. It's the symbol. These here, you'll see this in castles, you'll see this everywhere. This is actually a big gear, which represents hell. These are teeth on a gear. And they would be a circle, but they just do it. Masons have always put their symbology into their work. So what the guy is showing you is it's basically a magic trick. It's an illusion. It's what the seal of Saturn is. It's the as above, so below. You notice he's wearing the black and white as well for the two sides of the brain. There's no mystery to any of this stuff once you start understanding the basic concept of the scam that they're pulling, or the card trick, or the illusion, whatever you want to call it. Now, it's not so much important what this guy says. He's talking about 9/11, which is the act of sodomy. I keep telling you guys this. They symbolically did the act of sodomy on a child with the buildings. It's showing that the world was now going to be consolidated under Jewish power, which is what happens to a child's mind when they get sodomized. So watch here. Here's what I want you to see. Everything's codes here.
We're on the 91st floor.
Notice he said the 91st floor.
North Tower, which is Tower 1.
Interesting color that they use. And let me guess, that's his ID number, 0? No, that's a loop. That's a loop. Interesting color. I just showed it to you. So it's all of this is all linked together. I don't need to hear his shenanigan bullshit. It's the color I wanted to show in the loop. Oh, and it's WMURG or 9. How lovely. And notice it was the 91st floor. Now, there were these dudes, I think they were out of I can't remember, either the Netherlands or whatever, but they were Jews, and they drew these pictures, and it's called the B thing. Well, what do you think the B thing is? Well, it's the butt thing. Sodomy. Here's the World Trade Centers. Now, why do you think they drew these? What is this? Hang on. Why do you think that they would draw this? There's the eclipse right there on the 91st floor. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? And this is supposed to be the sun. Well, the sun is S-O-N, not S-U-N. So here's the message that it's the act of sodomy that's being played out. Right? Hang on. And so what do we got? We got the 91st floor. Here's the World Trade Center. You notice I have pictures you won't see anywhere on the net because I got them from people that, well, let's just say they ain't from around here. You see the eyeball right here in the center? You see this bit right here? Because it's magnetic. The two sides of the brain, the magnetic field, boom, fuse together. And it shorts it out. So we've got the 91st floor over here, right? See it right there? And then we've got this over here. Oh, look, a necessary evil. And who's that? Mother. And what's this? The atomic bomb. And notice the number on the plane is 91, because that was the one that dropped the atomic bomb on Nagasaki. I believe it was. But what's more interesting is he gets sodomized. He got mommy involved because she's the one that does the sodomizing. And what happens? Both sides of the brain become activated. And what do you get? The atomic kid. The atomic kid. And so the atomic kid, what happens is, where does he go? He winds up going to Disneyland. See it? He goes to Disneyland, which is really just a front for this. See? Isn't that a nice thing to do to a kid? That's a real nice thing to do to a child, isn't it? Lovely thing that Jews have given to us. So, let's look at this. It's a pizza place over by me called Marco's Pizza. Pizza lovers get it. Do you understand what you're reading? First of all, this isn't an M. This is a child bending over. The child's asshole is right here where the slice of pizza, remember we know what pizza represents, pedophilia, right? Is missing. See, they had to do that so that it would be located right there. See? So it's Marco's. What does that lead us to? Well, we'll get there in a minute. So here's the dude that owns this Marco's. But what's interesting about this is the color of the bench. Because the rest of the bench isn't painted. But this color, just like Stephanie's shirt right here, stands out. It's an odd color. See it? Right there? So let's take the word mark. We're going to take the word mark. And this, even though it's got an S on it, it's saying the same thing. Mark O's. What is an O? An O is a circle or a cycle. What is a cycle? A cycle is damnation. Because you get stuck in it when you go to Disneyland. And if we look over here, which is interesting, here's the dude. Why has he got his arms out here like this? It's a pizza place. Because of this. See the dragon's claw? The color. The mark. Now this is an interesting picture. Over here. This was taken from a girl that was repeatedly raped when she was a little girl by people that were into this shit. And you notice what it says. What does it say here? Dr. Mark. And who's this over here? Who's this over here? Look at this here. Who's this? Dr. Mark and Bale, there's that name again. And what's going on over here? Oh. What's for Din Din? Oh, it's a little kid in there. And here's the cow, which represents who? Mother. Remember? Adam Hart Mother, I showed you that? Which is a representation of who? Mommy Dearest. Very, very disturbing stuff. And what's interesting is from the same movie, Back to the Future. Notice his arms and notice his arms. That's Doc after the kid became the atomic kid. Why am I the only guy putting this shit out on the internet? You know, I did notice, though, a side effect to this shit. I am aging really fast. Faster than I should be. So this is very weird, but it cost of doing business, I guess. And I just wanted to make a point of this. Pizza lovers, pedophiles, is what that's saying. Get it. In other words, people will think, oh, pizza lovers get it. That they like pizza. But no, pedophile lovers get it. Meaning little kids. The mark of the beast. What does it say? I think we can fit that in here maybe. Let's see. He who takes the mark cannot be saved is generally understood to mean that anyone who receives the mark of the beast will not be able to enter into heaven, will face eternal damnation, which is Disneyland, which is the false reality that they get stuck in. Also, another code I want to show you guys is the glasses he's wearing. The glasses that he's wearing, these white ones. When you see people wearing these, and they don't wear them all the time, they only wear them at certain times. That is another code that's one of them. Madonna was wearing them, and now I see guys wearing them. People I know, personally, but they don't wear them every day. But I'll notice when one of them wears them, a bunch of people are wearing them because they're passing some type of code with them, that's why. Which means that's one of them, period. And just so we're on the same page here, notice the yellow and the pink for sex and violence. I'm right about these codes, and the sooner you learn them, the better off you'll be. And look at the picture of the girl. You can see that she's in an altered state. If we look at this picture, look at the inside. That's a vortex. It's all altered states. Altered meaning other states. Disneyland. Fictitious. So you remember when I showed you this, especially this piece right here, her memorial, you know, the one the FBI stopped me from going to. Remember I showed you? 73 people interested, and I told you that 73 means it's demonic. Well, I just happened to run across this over here. I was looking at something totally different, but look at what the guy puts down here. Three years ago, Stephen, 1973, satanic. Now, what are the odds? It's because I'm right. It's because I'm right. Oh, look, he was going to put it on page 9. 9 is the number for hell. Stephanie Francis never looked like that. I don't know who this is. This is a picture that they took of some chick. The fact that the picture is looking off into the distance, this was designed to shake people down for money, to make them feel guilty, to make them feel sad. And the person that was in charge of all that was the next door neighbor, Amy Laska, which means that Amy Laska not only was involved in bilking the public out of money, but was most definitely, in my opinion, the actual murder of Stephanie. And if Stephanie is not dead, then that means Stephanie is in on this. But it doesn't matter either way because, you know, I'm never going to see her again. There's something way, 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 way wrong with all of this. Now, it says 1973 over there where it says Stephen. I didn't figure the 73 thing out until probably sometime around September of last year. So whoever did this 3 years ago already had it down. That date, 1973, keeps coming up over and over again, which is interesting. Isn't it interesting that somebody drew the pictures of the Twin Towers? Wrote Chile 1973. We know 1973 is satanic. We know this is the act of pedophilia. And what happened in 1973 in Chile? There was a democratic socialist overthrow. But Chile's known for something much, much more precise to what we're talking about. And let's look at that, shall we? The Chilean miners. Remember that? 2008, and I was screaming bloody murder, telling people that ain't what that is. Well, let's just do this. We'll just do this. The Chilean miners. Was that word miners? 33. Chilean miners, 33. We know that's sodomy. 69, we know that's the vortex. The Phoenix 2. That's what comes out after. That's the new creation. The one that gets introduced to hell. Refers to the rescue of 33 trapped miners. No, it does not. They were down there for 69 days. You want to see what the Phoenix 2 looks like? Let's get that thing, shall we? So isn't that amazing? These guys got saved just after midnight, and Stephanie got murdered just before midnight. This thing reeks of... it's demonic. Let's look at this picture. Hang on a second. How the coup ended a democracy in Chile in 1973. Notice the hands? See the finger? This is from the Democratic Party before Trump's inauguration. This is one of those flipping pedophiles right here. Notice the hands? Notice the finger? See it? See it? See it? Chile. Now, let's get to the... It's not even funny, but let's get to the part that would be funny if there was any comedy involved in this. Let's see, the Chilean miners were trapped in the San Jose mine in 2010 and visited Disney World and Israel after their rescue. Now, why would men in a third world country that got pulled out of a mine go to Disneyland in Israel? Well, because we know that's not the truth. We know that they were minors. Minors, as in children. Because the child is the one that goes to Disneyland. The one that gets fucked. So we're going to take this word out. Here. We're going to take that word out. And we're going to put in this word. There we go. Isn't that a better word? A more apt, true word? Isn't that a better word? Let me see if I can just do it like this. Might be better. You get the gist. The Chilean miners were trapped. They weren't trapped in anything. They were being held hostage, and then systematically and religiously raped. That's why it was on the news, because it was a world event, just like 9/11 was. Another act of sodomy, right? Any of these stories that go worldwide involve this shit. Look here. Look here. How can I be making this shit up? This is Baal. That's what this is. Look, I don't know, what do you want me to tell you? You can search the internet for all the truth you want. It's right here, looking you in your fucking face. This is supposed to be Joe's car right here. The one that shot Stephanie. This strange husband, whatever. What is this? What is this? That shouldn't be there. What is that? Why does that look like some kind of fucking demonic face? I mean, I've never seen a car accident where you have white on the side of it. I'm telling you, this thing reeks. It's demonic. This whole story's flippin' demonic. And here's that greenish color again, right here. And if you look very subtly, there's pink and yellow in here. Very, very subtle. This should not be on the side of a car. The damage is up here. What would this be? What is it? So both of these pictures here, hang on a second. Both of these pictures here. Both of these pictures here from Sandy Hook, where they said the guy went in and shot up these children. They didn't shoot them, they fucked them and murdered them. See how she's on the other side of the mirror? See how the mirror is cracked? You see the same green? See where it says look? No. See how her eyes are dark? That's indicative of being sodomized. She's got a spider web here, which means she's got a fractured mind. This, they tried to push this off in the news as, oh, look at the son was so helpful. He wrote help and love. No, he didn't. This here, see where it says love? You see this here? That is a dick in an a-hole. The kid was saying, this is where I'm at. And these sick fucks play it off like for the public because they know the public knows nothing of this. Nothing. And it's interesting because the way they made this, you see this here? That's masonry, that's bricks and rocks. This little kid stuck on the other side of the mirror, never get out. That's why he who takes the mark cannot be saved. Because you're stuck on the other side. So this is another one of their drawings. So funny is on satellite TV, satellite phone talk with mama. That's mother. Fluffy clouds. Bring airplane and food. Wait, last chance for a parachute. Now if you look at this, here's the towers. Flying naked in a dream. Most popular suicide height. Then you look at this. Highest worm population, diamond birds. Buried hope. Hidden military action. Hold to escape shame. This is Dante's Inferno down here. This is hell. That's what this is. Chambers for SM lust. Oil. That's what this is. God, these people are fucked up. So I'm just showing you this here for the number 73. The space shuttle blew up 73 seconds after, so that's just telling you they did it. These people were sacrificed. Because it's right there and they're making sure you know exactly. They didn't say a minute and they said 73 seconds. And just jumping back to the weirdo at the pizza shop and Marco's Pizza. Yeah, this guy, yeah, this looks normal. Nobody puts happy birthday Lucy. Oh, so what are you going to do? Take the kid upstairs and rape it in honor of mother? That's exactly what the fuck that means. Okay, so when I tell you it's occult science, it is. It's forensics. It's just of an esoteric understanding. But it's the same rules apply. 1 + 1 = 2. It's just, you have to understand what you're looking at to get to the answer, I guess. So what you're looking at here is in 2022, in Idaho, in a town called Moscow, 4 college students were murdered, and the state police and the FBI needed help. They had no idea what was going on, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm the fucking guy that solved it with this right here. So these are the pictures that they put in the news. You can look it up. Yeah, Idaho, Moscow murders. As soon as I saw this, I knew that this whole thing was staged. In other words, I don't mean staged like fake. I mean staged like, the murderers always like to brag. You see? They like doing that shit. And so as soon as I saw this picture, because these pictures I took from the news, well, they're mirrored, right? So we're talking about somebody with a brain that's mirrored. Means somebody got fucked up the ass, right? It's mirrored. And somebody that's into the occult. I'm not talking about a gay guy. I'm talking about somebody that's occultically into the deviance of this. And I looked at this, and if you look on the background here, this is the Israeli blue and white. Okay, these two are mirrored. If you wanted to get into genetics, this is an X chromosome, and this is interesting. And this is an X chromosome, and the two of them make the seal, right? This here would be a Y chromosome, and hers would be an X chromosome. If we were going to go that route, okay? But we're not. But the seal does apply here, because the seal is what creates the mirror. And so the FBI and the state police said, if you have any ideas, call us or do whatever, because they were stumped. You can see that was December 2022. I called them up. They said, send over what you got. You can see what I put. The girl on the left is doing what's called mirroring, and the pic on the right. The girl on the boy, and the symbol in the white and blue. I couldn't use the word Israeli because they immediately would think I was a Jew hater. I said, that's from the Seal of Solomon, which is over here, which I will show you. It involves mirroring, and in the fact that it's Israeli blue and white. It tells them that somebody knew exactly what to do and how to place those pics. They had to be of an occult knowledge. I said, there's no chance it isn't. And then I put, it's Kabbalistic, right there. I put that there. And then I showed them here, the mirroring. And then if you look on this here, if you look, you see the outline underneath his beard? It's the same thing that you're seeing here. See it? It's right underneath there. You got the cross arm going up and right there. And then, so I told them it was Kabbalistic. It was my way of telling them that it's a Jewish guy. And then I explained a little bit of it right here. Now, let me show you this. So I sent my information to the state police and the FBI, and I told them the guy, whoever it was there's another part to this, but I said, it was a guy or a girl, and they were definitely into Kabbalah. And then I explained Kabbalah as Jewish mysticism. I had to dance around that so I wouldn't sound like I was an anti-Semite. I said, but they're definitely into the occult, and it's most definitely Kabbalah. Because I told them that there was, I sent them other pictures about the Manson murders and stuff. And you can see here, his name is Koberger. Do you know what the very first thing that the news said? They came out and they said, he's not Jewish. Now, why would the news say that? Why would they go out of their way to tell you that he's not Jewish? Jews always use a K. Second of all, this is not his real name. His real name is Cohenberger. And all we got to do is look at the pictures. Gee, yeah, this looks normal. And this. And you know what's really interesting about this? Is this. And that the steering wheel is this. And that Mr. Cohenberger is doing that. He got sodomized and they're homicidal maniacs. And I like how they, over here they spell it with a K, but if you look here, they try to cover it up by spelling it with a C. I solved that. They didn't have shit to go on. And then magically, after I said it, ta-da, they arrest a Jewish guy who's doing what? Flashing gang symbols and colors. That, too, was a ritualistic murder. That's why Stephanie's looks really, 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 really suspicious. Like the next-door neighbor, Amy Laska, who's an Ashkenazi Jew. And we know that she's into child trafficking. So, I don't know if they came next door to get Stephanie's kids, and Stephanie tried to stop them, or what. The story of what went on there is not being told. But I can tell by the forensic evidence in occult science, esoterically, it ain't what they said. This piece of filth. He's put a fucking rope around his neck and strangle him. You could look at him, he's demented. So you can see that occult science is actually a forensic science. There's no chance in fuck that I'm not the guy to solve that. They were stumped. They had no idea. And magically, after I told them, looky there. And that guy's exactly what I said. The first thing they said was on the news. I watched it the next morning with where the lady I was running from. The first thing they said is, "Oh, he's not Jewish." Well, why would you say that? Well, because they know. People will connect the dots. These are demented, fucked up people in a way you can't even begin to understand. So just to show you that this, I call occult science, so I named my channel after it. This is from a movie called Vacation. Right away you see the pink and the yellow, so you know. And then listen to what is being said here.
I'm going steady, and I French kiss.
Now watch.
So everybody does that. Yeah, but Daddy says I'm the best at it.
Look at the color of this shirt. What did she just say? Daddy said I'm the best at it. So the sex part would be obvious. The violent part is you're abusing a child. See, there's codes to this shit, and I spent the last 20 years putting them together. Not sitting here like, what's his name? How's that fucking weirdo's name? Jonathan Gleck. I've actually had people ask me if I ever watched his stuff. Yeah, I destroyed that guy way back in the early, like 2010, when he was making videos about aliens calling him on the phone and he was crying. Yeah, no. This is what I'm trying to show you is real stuff. And this is supposed to be one of the funniest clips ever. It's one of the most disgusting ever. But what it does give us, it tells us that the cataloging I've done is correct. When people get it through their minds that this world is run by an old order of pedophiles, you'll understand the story much, much better. And that old order of pedophiles is associated directly with the Jews, period. I don't care if it hurts your feelings or not. It's the truth. Here's another one of these fucking things. Here the girl's got the one eye closed. That's your Baal worship. It's an older man with a little kid. Doesn't say anything about it being his kid. Here's the black and white for the two sides of the brain. The finger looks a little extended or separated, but I'm not going to go with that. But the rest of it is clear. They always try and push this shit off as wholesome, and it's not. Oh, fuck this guy. God, I hate this man. If he is one. I think he's a broad. Here we go again with this. Look at the color that he's wearing here. He took his own life. Interesting. So he has the pedo glasses on, like Uncle Al, and you got the pedo color right here. Same color as Stephanie's shirt. That's interesting too. Now this is from a movie called Easy Money. So we see the same color code again, so we know it's going to be involving sex and violence. The palm trees always represent orgasm. So let's watch. Hang on.
What? May I help you?
No, thank you. Just browsing.
Hey, what do you got in this place? Antiques?
No, those are the customers.
May I help you?
Oh, no thanks. Just browsing.
How long do you intend to browse?
Well, that lady there, you didn't ask her how long she intends to browse. How come you're asking us how long we intend to browse?
You don't look like browsers.
No, what do browsers look like?
Yeah, maybe I'm half browser.
On his father's side.
Nevertheless, I prefer that you do not browse any longer.
Yeah, well, it's a free country.
Yeah, if these people can browse, we can browse.
Hey, Nicky, let's show the lady we're browsers, huh?
Oh.
Hey, look at us, we're browsing. Hey, ducks in heat.
So there's the first comment. There's the first comment.
That's 18th century.
Hey, folks, better keep browsing or she'll kick you out of here. Hey, look at us, we're browsing.
That thing right there. Well, listen to what he says.
Is this an odd or an end?
So there he goes talking about the end.
Hey, lady, if I buy 2 odds, will you show us your end?
Now he talks about her end. There's the finger. Now watch what happens. There you go, there's the sex part. That thing that he's holding, you'll see that. Hang on a minute. It's this thing at the Vatican. Everybody says, oh, that's your pineal gland. No, it ain't. It's a fucking butt plug. It's a flippin' butt plug. That's why he said about her end, and when he had it in his hands. And where does it go? Right up the ass, see? It's always sodomy with these guys. There's the penguin. Black and white. She's wearing purple.
Security! Security!
See? There's a science to this stuff. And once you got it, you got it. This here is his alibi with the black and the white and the finger up. Yeah, let me in that courtroom so I can clear that thing out in about 5 minutes. I'm not sure that you are aware or you can grasp what you're seeing here. What I'm trying to teach you is a language people don't even know exists. That bitch and him over there with the finger up, both of them need a rope around their neck and hung. They're complicit. They've been sold out. I'm sorry if it was done to them, but unfortunately these people are beyond recognition. And this bitch right here, her name's Anna something. She's on that Young Turks bullshit. These people need gone. And I mean it for real. Well, look at the picture here. Does that look like some guy that's going to face any kind of reprimand? Okay, so we're going to continue. Concordia Project. I just ran across this thing, but it all works out relatively to the same thing. It was created by Anna. The next stage of the visitor's plan could begin, blah, blah, blah. The reliance on blue energy. Once humans became heavily dependent on alien technology, Anna could destroy them through their vulnerability. there are going to be 538 Concordia sites. You notice the 88 in blue? Do you guys see what's going on right here? First of all, let's look at the word Anna. Well, let's just do this first. Let's do this. Blue energy. What's blue energy? This in the Arabic is called a jinn. In Christianity, it's called a demon. It's from Disney, which is all about the mind programming. And what's he got sticking out? His finger. Because that is their little dick symbol for the mind programming. Now, let's go here. So we know that it's demonic. So we're going to go here like this, and to right here like this. And I'm going to slide this over. And there's this seal right there. You see it? See the seal? That's the seal of Saturn. And then we're going to take the name and I'm going to show you A-N. It's mirrored. This is all part of the program. Now let's go down here to this. The 88, it's in blue. What's with the 88? I've shown this to you before. Back to the Future. 88 miles an hour. Remember this guy, Lord Fentanyl? George Floyd? He didn't die from a fentanyl overdose. All of those videos you heard about him saying, I can't breathe and all that, it's because he was being choked while he was being fucked. They just gave you a digital video of some cops beating up on a guy. That's not what happened. If you look, yellow and pink, that's sex and violence. The 88 is an alternate reality. Let's look over here. The write-up on it, when did he die? 808, 808 is, the zero has no value, so it's 88. It's a fictitious reality, just like Back to the Future. You see? See, if I was wrong about this stuff, I couldn't be this right. I know how this stuff works because I've dealt with people that know this stuff. So I'm going to give you a classic example here real quick. So when we look at this, here's this girl on Facebook. I met her through Facebook, but she knew all about me. Her name's Kali. Let's look over here. Here's Kali on the Empire State Building. Nobody questions that. People think that's normal. That's who the Jews worship. Is this broad right here, also known as Mother. Or in the computer, Anna, whatever you want to call it. Now this chick, I'm going to tell you a story about this chick. Real good looking too. And I mean, she did everything she could to bait me to come over to her place. Kali J. Bane. You notice that name, Bane? He was one of the bad guys in Batman. And she absolutely 100% is tied into this shit. She wanted me to do her, and I wanted to do her. The reason I didn't do her was because she made a comment. And she said if I was screwing her, I would never know if I was doing her or another guy. Because she's part of the system. She's both. I know how the system works because I know people like her that will, it's been explained to me. I know how it works because she wanted me to join the club and I said absolutely not. I think it's very interesting that somebody would use a rib cage on their Facebook page. And she definitely knows all about it, I can assure you. That's how I know. She knows from experience. And I know what happened to her as a little kid because I got it out of her. Her grandfather raped her when she was a little girl. when she was about 4 or 5 or 6 maybe, was her grandfather. So she's in the system. And she explained to me exactly how it works, and I know how it works, and I'm trying to explain it to you. That thing on the Empire State Building is exactly what she represents, that system of death. That's why she has the rib cage. Once you get stuck in that system, you cannot get out. I can draw you a diagram and explain it, but I don't know if you would understand it. You might. What I'm trying to show you here is Kali over here, Kali over here. Ribcage over here represents death over there. When I teach you this stuff, it's not a joke. It's for real. That's why I call it occult science, because it's absolutely a science. It's just esoteric science, esoteric knowledge, understanding things that are hidden, which is what occult really means. So when we look at this is sex and violence in 88, it's the act of sodomy, which puts the person into an altered state of mind, or alters. Alters, meaning multiple personalities, which means when you're locked into the system, you become part of that system with all the other people that are locked in it. So let me explain it to you like this. When you get on a phone conversation, when you hang up, you're disconnected. Imagine you get on a phone conversation that you can't hang up. Now imagine every other person in the world talking on the same line you are at exactly the same time. And there's no way to disconnect. It's because each one of those peoples that's been inducted into the system through this act of sodomy are now an outlet for that system, also known as mother. So let's continue. Here's the Black Book of Communism. See their eyes? That is a side effect of being anally raped. Now look at, these are all people. That's Karl Marx. That's that communist fuck from Cuba. That's the guy from Russia. That's the guy from China. All mass murderers. Well, the Marx I don't know about. He was a Jew. But look at Hillary Clinton. And this fucking bitch, whatever name, Acosta, or whatever her last name is. You notice they all have them same eyes? Because that is a side effect of being programmed from the rear end. And the colors black, white, and red are satanic colors. They just like to call that communism, but it's really satanic. So if we look over here, you see the same color pattern. White, black, and red. And they use the word hell because once you get in there, and once you get in that system, you ain't getting out. There's no way for you to get out. This is from Erin Arnold, the woman that looks like Amy Laska, which lives next to Stephanie, where I said that they were involved in her murder. And they most definitely are, because I can prove this all day long. This has the Disney head on it. Okay, see it? And what colors are they? Black, red, and white. And this is from her collection that she's selling. Because what you're looking at right here is child trafficking on an industrial scale. And I just happen to be some kind of weird freak that can see this stuff and put it out to the public. And there ain't many of us that can do that. Because personally, I don't know if I wasn't involved in a program. I tend to think that I was at some point. Because the shit that I went through as a kid is exactly textbook of what they do to people. The reason that they do these things is, one, to lock them in a system. But the Jews will actually, or the elites, we'll just call them that, will actually start poking a baby in the womb through the mother's vagina to disrupt its normal patterns. Because when you mess the mind up like that, what it does is it allows you to see things that the other people can't see. And so it kind of gives a better perspective when you're looking into this thing. My guess is I probably, when I was a kid, was in this. I'm not saying that I was sodomized, but I do remember having to take tests with psychiatrists when I was a kid. And then going through all of that abuse and shit, so probably doesn't matter. I'm trying to help people out here. So these people that you think are in power are not in power. They're more of a slave than you are. These people don't have free will. That's the misconception. People think the power stops here. This is how the Jews operate from behind the scenes. They manipulate these people. And then these people give the orders to do the murdering, and then they get stuck with it. But it's really the Jews that did it. There's another famous picture I want to show you. This is Lenin in a wheelchair. See the eyes? See the guy standing next to him? See the look on his face? Who do you think's really running the show there? This dude's been programmed. The guy standing next to him is the guy that gives the orders to murder, mass murder. While these Jews sit in the background and jerk off to it. Because that's what they're doing. And that in turn feeds into the demonic realm, the energy. And this way, the Jews can remain blameless. Because they get somebody else to take the blame for it. And this is exactly how they do it. Because I know how they do it. I'm going to tell you this. Nobody else on the internet is going to tell you the shit I'm telling you. And that got nothing to do with bragging rights. It's a fact. Because they don't know. Now, where does this come out of? I'll show you. It comes out of Mesopotamia. Sumeria. And that's all demonic shit. Every fucking bit of it. It's entering into a human and then pushing the human. It's not a possession like you think so much. It's imagine the brain of a child. Well, you're not taking over the whole brain. You're just taking over a compartment of it, a room in the house, right? And so the trick is that room, that demonic entity or that program, that altar is occupying, winds up taking over the whole house. But it's not a possession, so to speak, like you think of in The Exorcist. And so there can be many rooms inside this house, meaning personalities or altars, right? And so different characters can come out of different rooms and assume the role of that person. And there could be thousands of them. But the person on the outside will always look the same. But on the inside, there's many, many compartments, which are altars. That's how this works. There's thousands of them. You could have one or you could have 100,000 of them. And the person would never know they even had them. So when you think of people like Trump and Biden and those guys being in power, you have a more normal life than they ever will. Those people were handpicked and went through a lot of shit to get them exactly where they want them. And they have to be programmed, and I'll tell you why. They could never have a guy like me in charge like that because I could fuck the system up in a heartbeat. So these people have to be locked down mentally 100% under their fucking thumb. Or things could go real wrong real quick. So when you look at Trump and all of that, and you think that they got all that power, they don't. It's the dudes behind them. The guys running the show. So we look at this. This machine doesn't lie because they're tied into a computer system, so lying isn't an option. It's understanding is where people get lost. So if you look here, what's he doing here? Well, he's making the sign of Baal, isn't he? Which I'll give you some examples of that, right? Look at the color of this sweater. So Baal involves child worship. Okay? It's the same color as Stephanie's shirt. It's an odd color. He's got his arms up for bail. He's wearing the same color shirt or sweater, and it's 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Why is that important? Because that is pedo code for little girls. And where did we see that? In the movie Hervey the Love Bug. I'm sorry, 53 is little girls. 305 is little boys, my mistake. So as an example to show you that the opposite is for girls. The love bug, what is a bug? It's a beetle. What is a beetle? It's a dung beetle. It's a sly way of sliding in sodomy. We all know what happened to this kid, right? What happened to her mind? Yeah? So this is the code for little boys, 35. And this is the code for little girls. And that's why it's Herbie, the love bug. And the word for anal sex, an English word, is called buggery. Makes sense, doesn't it? So, if we look here, this was during the COVID thing with the BLM, it's a demon. It's Balaam, which is Baal, which is what his arms are doing up. It represents that, but it represents child sacrifice and murder. See, while everybody else was running around having a normal life, I was sitting around studying this shit and putting it together for the last 20 years. I live a very solitude life. Obviously, I have no girlfriend. She's gone. Probably due to this shit. Murdered. Believe me, I'll solve that before I die, I can assure you. But I'm just giving you for an example. See the arms up, that's all Balaam. This is Pazuzu. This is the demon. There's the X that you see all the time. All of this all comes back to the same thing. Mind control, spiritually, esoterically. You gotta love this one here though, watch. That's one of my favorites. This is how blind the public is. Black Lives Matter, it's BLM, which is Balaam. Notice there's no shadow. Because the message is the position of the arms. To the people in knowledge, they know that stuff. Those are people that know that they're supposed to go do something. Programming. So let's jump into some programming, shall we? So this chick, right here, Brenda Spencer is her name. She was the first American school shooter. Well, the picture kind of gives it away, don't it? What do we got here? The red X. The X represents Saturn, which represents death. 3. The 0 doesn't mean anything, so it's 3. Well, why is that important? This is the Kabbalistic tree of life. The number 3 right here is Saturn, whom the Phoenicians called Israel. I Hate Mondays, a true story of school shooter Brenda Spencer. Now there was a song called I Hate Mondays, or I Don't Like Mondays, or I Hate Mondays, or whatever. So here's the lyrics to it. The silicone chip inside her head gets switched to overload and nobody's going to go to school today. She's going to make them stay at home. And Daddy doesn't understand it. He always said she was good as gold. And he can see no reason because there are no reasons. What reasons do you need to be shown? But if you look at what her statement was after she got done shooting these kids, Brenda Spencer is often regarded as the first modern school shooter in the United States. A reporter reached her by phone while she was still in the house after the shooting. That was all set up, and asked her why she committed the crime. She reportedly answered, I don't like Mondays, because this song was used to program her. That song was written for that episode. In other words, all of these people that are involved in music are all part of CIA. CIA is run by the Jews. So they write a song, they take the song, and they use it as a trigger Interesting word considering it's a shooting. They use it as a trigger. So when they hear that song, that compartment that I told you about in the mind brings forward that alter, that other character. The person that really resides in that brain goes dormant. And so this person, the alter, does the shooting. Then the alter returns back and the other person comes forward, getting the blame for it. You see? This is how this works. And so they have triggers. They can be colors, they can be numbers, they can be words, they can be symbols, but they're triggers. This is how this works. And once you understand the science behind it, the occult science, not some bullshit video off of a YouTube or a BitChute, you know, about aliens and crap. This is how this works. Again, these eyes are people that have been programmed. These people have no will of their own. So while you're pointing the finger at them, it's the dudes behind them that are doing it. These people are actors, for lack of a better word, except they don't have the way that you understand an actor is you watch a sitcom or a movie. They're not that kind of actors. These fuckers are in it for life. They have to be 100% controlled because they could blow the whole system out of the water by saying the wrong thing. So they damn sure ain't gonna let somebody just walk out there and start blabbing. Trump is controlled as much as any of them. The Mickey Mouse head is the logo for all of this crap because it represents Disneyland, which is a fake reality that's created in the mind of the child. I'm going to show you how big this is right now. And just so we're clear, where it says the silicone chip inside her head gets switched to overload, no, there's no chip in her head. What that's saying is she's programmed. So just as a refresher, I just wanted to go over this so you understand who's running this pedo farm. I showed you this last time, but just to refresh your memory. There's a piece of pizza which represents pedophilia. There's 5 eyes on here. These 5 eyes are the 5 major Western governments that run the pedophile industry. So we'll start here. America. Let's go with a better color than that. I don't want to use that. I don't want to use blue. America. Who else? England. Spelling was never my strong suit, by the way. Did terrible. The only thing I did good in school on was speech and art. Canada. I think that's how you spell it. I'm not sure. And Australia. Again, I forgot to capitalize. You see why? This is why I always got F's in spelling. Those are the 5 major. And the 6th eye that rules over all of these is, don't be surprised, Israel. And then we have the satanic inverted pentagram. The black star is also known as the black star of Saturn. And this symbol right here that symbol right there is the symbol for all of it, all the mind programming. And I'll get to that in other videos. You see the square with 4 dots? That is the entire center of this whole thing. Also, before I forget, this here, that's the eclipse. And that is what happens to the mind. The left and the right brain overlap each other and short each other out. Boom, zing. They fuse electromagnetically from the act of sodomy. And the two sides create one center, which people call the third eye, but it's really a singularity. And then you're hooked into the system, which is mother. And once you're in there, you ain't getting out. See, I just want to throw this in real quick. Even this guy with all the money and all of that shit that you've been told, Bill Gates, they get dressed up like a little girl when he's a boy. Or is he a boy? Maybe he's a woman playing a boy. What they're implying here, notice the color, and the balloons that look just like a dick and two nuts. That kid was sodomized. All of these people are under the control of what's behind them, which are the archons, which we'll get to that, but just thought you might want to see Bill Gates at his finest. And if you notice, he's got the fingers sticking out just enough. Nice looking kid. Not really. So what I'm going to show you here is this is a high school band playing in a church, and they're doing a deep Pink Floyd song. And it's done very well, but every one of those kids is part of the firm. Every one of those kids has been programmed. You'll see in a minute, but the most important part is coming. Now, you see this guy, he's all in blue. Remember what blue is, right? Those are the demons. That's through your blue power. This guy's wearing what? Look at his shirt, which incidentally changes in a few frames. However, they both are telling you the same thing. This is like what the Jews wore in the Holocaust. Remember that striped mattress looking? Now, you see this right here? They'll show it again. Sabian. That's an important word here. Now, when you see what comes up, when I saw it, and it's hard to move me in this stuff. When I saw this, my jaw dropped, and I went, "We are so fucked." Watch. Stop and go backwards, and I'll explain it. A lot going on in there that you're not seeing. Hang on a minute. I don't know why you did that. Hang on. Every one of these kids is inducted. Every one of them has been inducted into the club. And as soon as I saw that, my jaw dropped, and I about fainted. There's the fucking Mickey Mouse head. The 2 ears and the mouth, the head. Those are the 2 penises of the male, 2 males in the act of sodomy. These lights that you see that aren't moving, those are souls that are trapped in hell, symbolically wrapped up in barbed wire. They can't go anywhere. Now watch back here. Watch this kid. You see him go down the stairs? When you look at drawings that the Masons have, you'll see 2 things. Either stairs or ladders, because those are levels. That was symbolic of hell. They were going down. When they showed that fucking mouse head, right there's a dragon's claw. And here's the zigzag in the front, which is mother. Which is, it's all tied together, but you get what I'm saying, right? I mean, it takes a lot to fucking disrupt me, and that disrupted me. Takes a lot to fuck me up. That fucked me up that night I saw that. When I saw that, I just realized, even though I already knew how big this fucking thing is, the fact that they're doing this in the church is just telling you that that's who's running the show completely and utterly. I mean, without question. So there's the 2 ears and where the head would be, and the 2 penises, which represent the whole thing of sodomy, and here's the symbol for mother. And there's the colors, the blue that I was showing you, and the green. This is so whacked. People don't even know this shit exists. Why did I get this curse to know this stuff? Why didn't I get the curse of being having blondes that were beautiful and tall with big tits, wanting to ravish my body and just rape me? How come I didn't get that curse? I get this one. So if you like word games, this is a group called Donnie and Marie. Older people will know who they are. If you're younger, you probably wouldn't. They were like real big in the 70s and kind of in the 80s. What's the first thing that you see? Well, you see this. So we already know dudes in the club. Then we see the snakeskin pattern right here, right? These guys were Mormons, which is another cult that's right up there with the Jews. But let's play the word game. So let's take this. See, it says I'm Osmanized. These are the Osmonds. So this is how they like to play with people. So let's just do this. Let's take this over here. And we'll pretend like we're playing a word game. Because I think you already know where I'm going with this, right? This learning is fun. Especially when you learn the truth. Because the truth is never pretty. The end, that one kind of struck me as a little weird. And I think it probably has the meaning. Give me a second. I did a thing on this a long time ago and I forgot. Yeah, there it is. The Hebrew letter nun. Nun. It means knowledge. You remember what I told you the word knowledge means? It comes from the word know. The word know in Hebrew is yada. And yada means sexual knowledge. And they knew the difference between good and evil. And man has become as we are, knowing the difference between good and evil. Don't you love word games? Learning is fun, isn't it? See what a filthy place this world really is? Who runs the show here? How absolutely huge and disgusting this is. I don't know if I showed you this earlier. Maybe I did. I get sidetracked and I lose my train of thought. This is a book that my buddy, Jeff, was over in Iraq. Or Iran. Right? Iraq? Was it? Yeah, Iraq is the one they bombed. He went into an old house and he found this underneath the floorboards. You can see that it's not very big, but it's what's on the cover that's interesting. There's that fucking mouse head again. That Mickey Mouse head. And we tried and thought about how we could get it here to the United States, and there's just no way to do it. But it's right there. And that writing, it's something different than Hebrew. I mean, it might be way older than that. That might be some shit going back to the beginning. But there it is right there. And so we can tell from that symbol that this shit with the brain stuff has been going on since way back then. Period. Now to give you an idea how they fuck with people's heads, you remember the riots that were going on in Minnesota when the whole COVID thing broke out and the BLM thing? Yeah, there it is on the top. See where it says breaking news? Protests. This is from a movie called World War Z. Notice anything that looks kind of the same? the whole picture. And they use this on the news because you're not seeing what's really going on. I'm about to show you. So what you're seeing here is, you remember that shooting when that kid shot those two guys that were trying to kill him? See what's going on in the back here? What's this? Who are these dudes they're dark? See, you're not seeing the truth of what's going on. This is superimposed over what's really going on. This is all demonic stuff. These are, call them what you want. The demons. This dude, it's a big fuck fest going on. There's all the demonic fuck fest going on. If you look over here, see the arms up? Remember we keep talking about that? Why does this dude, what is this on his back? There's the head, there's the legs. This is not a person, this is a demon. Mike, what I'm trying to tell you is we are not seeing what is really going on. You get little glimpses like this, these things I catch. They're hiding what's really going on. Anytime you see the two arms up in the air, don't buy this, don't shoot and all that, crap. Those things that they do in the street, it's demonic. This was a big fuckfest that was really going on. They sold it to you as, a riot or a mob. That's not what's happening. This is what's happening. Demons often, they show them as like frogs. You can see the hips of this thing, whatever it is. Again, they try and hide this shit in plain view And see, it says this video cracks me up every single time I watch it without fail. But what it is, it's a guy on a boat. He's a black guy, and as he walks up to the window to look inside, he sees a reflection of himself as a white guy or woman. Well, because what they're telling you is you're not who you think you are. And that comes from the programming. But they sell it to the average idiot as some kind of funny video, but it's not. It's really showing you that it's like that show, which I'm going to do a video on at Quantum Leap, the very last episode. Miraculously, it's called Mirrors. Exactly what I've been teaching you. So this cracked me up when I saw it on the news. So police in North Carolina issue warning about a drug weighing scam. So the key words here are North Carolina. Let me get it. Bastard. North Carolina. The next thing is the 3-5. What did I tell you 3-5 is? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. 35. Then the next one is this. The number, what is it? 9. There you go. So what this is telling me, oops, let's not forget the biggie. No, but we're going to put this one right here. So what are we looking at? So really what the story is that in North Carolina, the 3-5 is the boy code for pedophilia, 9 is the number for hell, 33 is the sodomy. But hang on a minute. 1 second. I always like to back up my work. And here from Back to the Future, remember what I told you about that? Here's the number 9, and here's the big flaming H for hell. So what that news story is really telling me, in North Carolina, the 3-5 is boys, 5-3 are girls. There's some major pedophile exchange or ritual or something was going on there. People, you're not seeing what you think you're seeing. This shit is coded, but there's people that know what this shit is. My knowledge is limited, but at least I know it exists, and I've tried to put together as much as I can. This stuff wouldn't add up if I was that wrong. And I don't think I have to stretch your imaginations to see this. I'm pretty sure you can see it as soon as I explain it. Now, this picture of this girl, isn't it funny? This is the girl, the blonde one that said she wanted to do me, but said, you know, you won't know whether you're doing a guy or a girl. Remember, I showed you that earlier. Beautiful, beautiful girl. God, she was hot. Anyway, this is on her Facebook page. And it's not so much the 3 fingers, although those are to be expected. Yeah? She's 34 years old. She looks like she's about 9 years old here, but that's not the point that I'm getting at. Well, it is, and I'll explain it. What's interesting is if you look right underneath here, you see the eye, then there's no eye, then there's a nose, and the mouth and the chin would be here. It's because it's the clown. Now, in the occult, those are referred to as ass clowns. That has to do with the whole sodomizing thing. This picture is bizarre. That looks like about a 9-year-old girl. Now, the reason I say that is because in her mind, she thinks she's an adult, and that's what you're seeing on the outside. I know this is going to be weird. What have I showed you that ain't? But on the inside, she's still that little kid. So in her brain, she's still stuck. That's why in the movie, or the story, Peter Pan, he says, I'll never grow up, because he can't. Because in his brain, his mind is stopped. At that age, that's what being damned is. D-A-M-M-E-D. It ain't devils and pitchforks. It's not moving forward. So this doesn't look like a 34-year-old woman. It looks like about a 9-year-old girl. And I finally got it out of her that her grandfather had raped her when she was little. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is a clown's face down here, without question. And there's the 3 fingers for the whole Saturnian thing. It's all there. And believe me, I wanted to do her, but I wasn't into doing, getting involved with that. And just so you know, they shoot these things explicitly so that certain numbers and letters and things stick out. So it's not by chance that this was shot this way. Absolutely, 100%. Here's a fun picture. I just put a collage together kind of one day when I was bored. Here's this cunt, Ocasio. She's a Sephardic Jew, which means Spanish Jew. Right? Nice hand symbol lady. Here's the Red Baron, Christopher Columbus, Adolf Hitler. This one was from some Hindu thing. That's interesting, isn't it? Does that look like a human hand? And what did it say? What's this say? Oh, equality. Oh, so it sounds like the, not black people, I mean the real black people, the demons, are screaming about having equality. And why is that? Let me try and show you. Who's who here? See, because you see, it's all about mommy. So when you see this shit, it's her. It's mother, whatever you want to call her this week. Ashtoreth. There's a million different names for this chick. It's all the same thing. See, over here's this kid. Here's Dolly Parton doing it. Here she's doing it. There's the owl right there because Lilith was referred to as a screech owl, which is biblical. It's also on the $1 bill. Would you like to see it? I'll show it to you. There it is on the back, or on the $1 bill. That might be up in the corner. No, that would be, is that on the front or the back? I can't remember. But I've seen it a bunch of times. That may be the front. But there it is. That's a screech owl, and that's Lilith. It's like I said, it's mentioned one time in the Bible. Yeah, her gig is she wants to murder all of Adam's offspring, which is children. Just another one of the stories about, wanting to kill Gentile kids. See, it says, of course Black Lives Matter. Dolly Parton tells Billboard, well, yeah, because it's Balaam. Ain't this an interesting pic? So here's St. Fentanyl. George Floyd from the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Why is he holding a fucking little ball, beach ball or whatever, that looks like this dude over here? Think there might be a connection? And you see it's pink and yellow? That's sex and violence? Remember I told you no cop put his knee on the back of his neck and killed him. He was getting choked while he was getting fucked. The digital picture or the digital video they gave you was not showing you what was really going on. That's why he was going, I can't breathe, because he was being choked. It was a fucking sex act is what killed him. Now, ain't that interesting? That they shot this picture, supposedly this is when the cops had him on the ground. Right? Isn't that interesting? That they shot this exactly like this, because this sure as hell looks a lot like this. And this is a dragon, which is what? Mother. But they can fool the public. They don't fool me because I know the story. They shot this exactly like this on purpose. Period. That's when the whole BLM thing started. I was watching TV one day, and the universe is very, very funny. Got a funny way of getting things across to people. There's a broad that was dancing on a bar. Good looking, too. But what was interesting is exactly at that moment when she stuck her ass out, what shows up on the football game? 9/11. And what did I tell you 9/11 was? It's the act of sodomy. It's the act of it. Interesting how the universe exactly, precisely, within a nanosecond gets it right. It's just you have to be smart enough to understand what you're seeing. Again, people aren't seeing what they think they are. This thing is talking to you every day, all day. People don't listen. I think this is one of my very first, or one of the earlier videos that I did, but this is one of my favorite pictures to show you just how out of the loop of understanding people are. That's Steve Jobs. He was a multi-millionaire, or was he? I'm telling you, he was not. You know, I know, because you see that little Jewish guy right there? That's the dude that ran his life. See him dressed up in Saturnalian black in a woman's dress? He never owned any of that money or any of that property. That's an illusion for you. That's what they want you to think. He was never in charge of any of that. Remember, I told you these people are on lockdown. They have all been programmed because they cannot take the chance of somebody fucking up the chain of command. You'd like to think that they got this free will and money, do all of that. Those people that you see doing that, like P. Diddy and all of that, they are programmed to do that. To give the illusion for you to strive for those things. Look at Steve Jobs. Doesn't he look good? Old AIDS victim there. They said his liver gave out. No, it isn't. He died of AIDS from getting it up the ass. So a guy goes from being this super smart, multi-millionaire, billionaire maybe, I don't know, to this? No, it doesn't work like that. He always was this. They made you think he was something different. They own that property. This is one of these posters that I ran across, and it's really saying something different than what you think. You see the German right there, and immediately you think he's the bad guy. But read what it says. Together end Soviet Bolshevik Hydra. In other words, what it's saying is defeat the Jews. It's exactly what it's saying. Bolsheviks, those were Jews. But yet it's the German that gets blamed for it. How'd that work out? The way that worked out is you instill your Jewish family in those governments, and then you force those governments to accept the Jewish story that they're the innocent victim. That's how that works. I'm just pulling some random pictures here. A lot of you have never seen me or seen me on film or anything, but there's a lot of people that do. And even this freaked me out. It's one of those other ones that made me kind of raise my eyebrows. This is a picture out of an encyclopedia. When I first saw it, I thought somebody was fucking around, so I went and looked it up. That's what I look like. I look like the dude. This is from World War II. During the siege, the Warsaw Ghetto or whatever the hell it was. But I look exactly like that guy. My mustache is a little bit longer on the sides. And if that's my old lady, she's going to be pissed. I've only been gone for like 87 years. Or in this case, maybe it's 88 years. Maybe I really am there. And I just think that I'm here. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, as weird as this world is, it really could be the case. That's one of those pictures that freaked me out, kind of. And it's funny because if you look over here, there's that color again that looks just like Stephanie's shirt. What is that color doing in there if this is a black and white photo? And that's not a reflection. This is a reflection of the lamp. That's what you're seeing there. But this, and you can see the X in there, so no, that's not me doing that. That's in here. How are you getting color in a black and white photo? You see, there's codes to this. But that really, truly, if you've never seen me before, I look like this. And people that know me will recognize that face. So let me explain to you this here. BLM. This is a demon. You can see the name down here. Okay? So I'm going to put it up here in the corner. It's spelled B-A-L-A-M. So if you wanted to fool people, what you do is you write it out like this. You write it out like this, right? And people say, oh, that's Black Lives Matter. No, it doesn't. That's not what it is. It's this. B-A-L-A-M. And that spells what? Balaam, which is another name for Baal. And what do we see in this picture that's interesting, that gives it all away? Look at the dude's head. See the head? See it? Right there? And then if I do this, and I draw a line straight down here like this, you see how it's mirrored? See how it's mirrored? So we know that the whole Baal and Balaam thing is associated with mirroring. And then what do we see over here? We see two opposing hands making the same symbol, which is what? It's called the lion's paw. It's revering Israel. And the bear that you see over here, the bear's head, that's your pedo bear. Most people see it on a child's bed as a teddy bear, but you can see it really ain't all that friendly. Also, I'd like to point this out. This is one of my favorite things to do. So you see where they put this crap here. You know that, right? Where they do that? But if you just do this, and they always get pissed when I do this. If you just do this, you put an O in front of lives, you get Black Lives Matter. Oh, and then to be fair, then you have to do this. All olives matter. See? But seriously, aside from the joke, this is what BLM really was. And as you can see the mirroring part up there that I've been teaching you. Learning is fun. And for you, who wore that stupid mask, which I didn't, this is from a cartoon, but they tell you the truth all the time. It says, welcome to demon school. Wow. And what's on the face? Oh, the mask is on the face. How wonderful that is. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And isn't this amazing? Here's Lady Gaga wearing the same face mask with the same things coming out of her tentacles, whatever the fuck they are, as you can see, that Baal's wearing over here. And she's doing what? She's holding her arms up like this, right? Oops. Right? Like this. So we go here. Then we go to the top of the head. And then we go here. See? And then we go here. See? Making the zigzag for Mother. Baal and Mother is kind of the same thing. Well, they are the same thing, just the way they got it made up. Doesn't that look like fun? Wow. Now, if you see here, this was in 2017, I did this video, right about the time that this broke. And if you look, what is this? This is a comic book. And it says, in the name of Julius Caesar, and with generous sponsorship from Lupus, Garum Benefitus, pronouncing the great transatlantic race. And who won? Who wins? Well, it was coronavirus that won. Wow, how about that? Coronavirus won. And it was in a comic book this whole time, and nobody saw it. Here's another wonderful picture of Lady Gaga with her Baal attire on. There's a picture right there from a comic book or whatever the hell it is. Balaam. Same four fingers. There's your face mask. And then you got these flowers, these evil flowers. It says, how nostalgic. Wow. And they got the bird's feet, and it most certainly has that. And I'll show you where that comes from. See, this broad's got a killer body. She's going to have to do something about that nose, though. She's going to need a nose job. She's holding the pistol. Why? Because in the occult, it used to be the female that ran this place. Somehow, nobody seems to know, not from what I can gather, how it got flipped to it being a man's world. But those are archons. Those are archons. Demons. That's why it showed the demon with the face mask on with bird feet, because of that. A lot of weird shit here, man. More than you can ever imagine. I could go on showing you this shit for days. Days. Remember, I've been doing this pretty much 24 hours a day for the last 20 years. So I got a lot of shit stored in my head. Because even when I'm sleeping or I'm working up in the trees or whatever, I'm thinking about this stuff. Got a great body. If she could just do something about that nose. I can explain this to you, but I don't know if you're going to grasp it. Just like the girl that wanted me to do her. That said, you won't be known if you're screwing a guy or a girl. The picture I showed you where she's actually a little girl. What this picture is showing you is that it's a combination of the two. A young boy and a man. You see the man, the male figure, but what they're showing you is the adolescent makeup of the individual. That's how they pull this shit off. Once they stunt the person, they're fucked. It's a symbolic picture. This is some pretty wicked shit. And I don't mean wicked like in a good way, I mean wicked in a bad way. I don't know who did this picture, but I'll tell you what. This really tells the story. So this is Darth Vader. And then you go back here. And then you go back here. And who's inside? The woman. But it's also indicative of, it's a dimensional thing. Remember I showed you the picture in a picture in a picture? Or I keep telling you it's a repeat. Well, it's what it is. You know them what are they called? The Kachina dolls or something? Where there's a doll inside of a doll inside of a doll. It's like this picture. Remember this picture? Because what it's showing you is it just keeps going over and over and over and over. But it's one inside of another, inside of another, inside of another. So the house is up for sale where Stephanie lived. Here it is. Here's the outside. What's wrong with this? First thing, what's wrong with this? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. That, what you think is a fire pit, is a fire pit. But those logs, I'm in the tree business. Nobody could sit on those without falling off of them. They're too tall. That's a witch's circle. That's exactly what that is. That's a witch's circle, and one of them is missing. I don't know what the significance of that is, but I'll get to that later. Nobody sits on these. And there would be no reason to put these around here if people were going to sit out here and put hot dogs and marshmallows. That's a witch's circle. Second, this is the hallway where Stephanie supposedly got shot. It's not a very wide hallway, is it? So tell me where the kids were standing when she got shot. They would either had to been on either one of the adjacent rooms, or they would have had to been standing right behind Joe, right here. Period. Now I find it interesting that if Stephanie got shot up against this wall like they claim, she got pushed up against the wall, why would anybody go to the length to find the same matching wall color paper or paint that was there before? Why wouldn't you just paint it white? Why go to the headache? And if you can see this floor all looks the same all the way around, let's blow this up a little bit. How is it that the blood would get in it? It would soak into the wood, wouldn't it? Now, if you cleaned it, you'd have to scrub the shit out of it and you'd probably discolor the wood. Does that look discolored to you? And who's going to go to the headache to try and find the exact same tongue and groove flooring to replace the spot? Nobody got shot there. Nobody. This, I don't know, this is one of the rooms in the house. This is from the realtor. What is that? And why is it glowing like that? Why is it glowing like that in the middle of the day? See, all of this is bullshit. Something went on, I just don't know what went on. But here, let me show you this. This is where they made their mistake. And it was in front of my face the whole time. These are some texts. And like I said, this was right in front of my face, and I didn't catch it until about a week ago. You see here where it says, I have my eye doctor in the morning? Do you see the time? It was 5:28 p.m. Then I talked to her. She said Abby has a softball game. That was at 6:04, 4 minutes later. Then I said, call if you want. So all this was happening in real time. The phone was in my hand. What's the problem here? If it's 6:04, then she would have been texting me from her phone 1 hour ahead in Rhode Island. Why is my phone showing 7:39? But it's impossible, and I'll tell you why. First of all, only the hours change as you go through the time zones. So I'm in Colorado. Illinois would be an hour ahead. So right now it is 9:04. In Illinois, it would be 10:04. In Rhode Island, it would be 11:04. In California, that's, I think, 2 hours. It would be 7:04. But the numbers always stay exact. And the reason for that is because it helps correlate everything. Airports, emails, trains, stock market. It has to be precise to the second. You can't be off on the minutes. And second of all, how could my phone, this is my phone, I called her Munchkin because she was really short. How can my phone be at 7:39? Now, look over here. Again, it says 7:39. Look at the time, 2:23 p.m. How could my phone be at 7:39? It's because they hacked into my phone with a fake template. You see, it's the same day at 2:23. How could it be 7:39 at 2:23? At worst, it would have been 1 hour behind. It would have been 1:23. They hacked into my phone, and they did this. This is absolute 100% proof. There's a, let's see, 2:23 to 6. That's a 4-hour time difference between this and this. Yet the time on my didn't move because it was a fake template that they put over it. The time wasn't gonna move. So this is the last set of texts I got from her ever. You can see here, this is in real time. So Joe sent this to her supposedly at 9:44, right? Okay, so there's Joe, right? This is her connection to Joe at 9:44. You see what time I got it? 7:47. That's not possible. The minutes don't change. And it wouldn't be 2 hours because I was in Illinois, which is only 1 hour behind. You see? Which means that somebody or something was interacting with the phone. This is proof positive. This is proof positive that there's somebody or something involved in manipulating the evidence and the facts of what actually happened. It is absolutely impossible that this number would show up at 5:28, 6:04, and not only that, at 2:23 in the afternoon. It's a fake template. So they hacked my phone. So this is gonna end this part 10 for now. Because all of this is going to the United States Marshals. And I know everybody thinks, oh, they're all compromised. That's where you're wrong. That stuff is compartmentalized. Everybody doesn't get to know what's going on. The girl behind the counter at the bank does not know what the bank president 15 feet away with the door closed is doing. It's compartmentalized. The reason that they do that is because some people actually have a conscience and would go, hey, wait a minute, this is fucked. And at this point, I have no choice. These guys specifically deal in international child trafficking. And I can prove it. And this shows that there was actual intent to deceive. So I'm going to end this thing right now. And then that's it until next week. And I went back through all of my emails text with her, and it ranges between about 7:39 to about 7:57. It never changes. So even if they were bouncing this off of a server somewhere, the times, they wouldn't be the same with this much of a time gap, a 4-hour time gap. They fucked up. They left a fingerprint, and I found it.